Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome to my channel. My name is Mckayla, and today's video is going to be my birth plan for baby number 2. So I just kind of wanted to talk to you guys about the process and being in labor and during delivery, and then a little bit after labor, not much. Well, it would be delivery, but a little bit after delivery, and I just kind of wanted to go through my birth plan with you in case you kind of wanted to go the same route I do, or you want some ideas on what route to go, or just, don't know what a birth plan is. Here you go. I'm kind of just gonna start off at the top of my list and work my way down. I have it all written down here, and yeah, let's just get into it. If you did not know, I'm having a hospital birth, so I will not be giving birth at my house, or I don't even know where else you could give birth, but I know there's different places. I chose hospital because that's where I feel most comfortable and safe, and it has the most resources, I feel. So I chose a hospital birth. I am being induced, and I'm being induced on January 28th, 2019. Now if she comes before that, that's not a big deal. We're just gonna go to the hospital and go about it that way. The next thing you need to do is figure out if you have strep B and if you're RH incompatible with your baby. So strep B, they basically just swab you, and they see if you have it. If you do, you just have to have medication. It's no big deal. Nothing's wrong with you. Whenever I went to labor with Timothy, they did not have time to test me for strep B, so they gave me the medication anyways. It didn't make me feel a certain type of way or anything. It just makes sure that your baby doesn't get sick, I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I know if you are strep B positive that you do have to have medication. And then if you are RH incompatible with your baby, I don't know what they have to do because I'm not. But I know that has something to do with your blood and the baby's blood, possibly mixing or something like that. And then the next thing is I plan to have a delivery vaginally. I did with my son, so I want to do the same thing again. I don't want to opt for a C-section or anything like that. And I would like an epidural. I'd also like Caelan, my mom, and my grandma Cindy present during the delivery, and I don't care who's there while I'm in labor, but whenever I'm pushing and I'm exposed, I would just like those 3 people to be there because that's just what I feel comfortable with. I do not want my son, Timothy, present until baby girl is here and, I'm cleaned up and so is the baby, just because I don't want him seeing me in pain like that. And I just think it would kind of scare him, and he wouldn't understand what I'm going through and might try to climb on me and stuff like that. So it would just be easier for him to come in after I give birth and in my room. My doctor will be delivering the baby. I have a doctor. I don't have I don't know if a midwife is a doctor or not. I didn't really look into it, but I know you can have a midwife, a doula, and whoever else present if you want them to be, but my doctor will be the one who's delivering. During labor, I do not want any music played. I do not want a catheter. I want to avoid one. I do not want to be touched just because it breaks my focus, and just whenever I'm in a lot of pain, I personally don't like people touching me. And I do want to wear contact lenses while I'm in labor, and I want to have family film and take pictures. So yeah, I know I'm gonna have the epidural, so I'm probably gonna have to have a catheter at some point, but I do not want one that stays in continuously, just because I don't like catheters. They freak me out. I did have a straight catheter whenever I was in labor with my son. They gave it to me right after they gave me my epidural, so I'm going to try to go to the restroom before they give me the epidural, and then hopefully once I do get it, I won't have to have a catheter for a while. But I do know that was really painful. That was the most painful part of my labor for me. So I want to avoid a catheter at all costs. And I would also like to eat and drink like normal once approved by my doctor. I don't want to be limited or anything like that. I just kind of want to eat and drink like normal. I was allowed to with my son as soon as he came out. I had a Three Musketeer, no, I had a Milky Way, so I didn't have any limitations last time, so I'm just going to assume that I won't this time if everything goes the way it should go. I would like to spend my first stage of labor doing whatever is most comfortable. So this is like before you get the epidural and stuff. I personally got the epidural 30 minutes after I got my water broke and the Pitocin started, because I was already 4 centimeters dilated whenever I went into labor. So yeah, I got that as soon as possible, but before I got that, I was laying down trying to breathe through my contractions and stuff like that. So just however I am most comfortable is the position I want to be in my first stages of labor. I do not want an enema, and I do not want them to shave me down there. And I do not want a catheter. I will make sure I shave before I go in case I do have to have a C-section, but yeah, I do not want to be shaved by somebody else. That's just a no-go for me. And I absolutely do not want an enema. Absolutely not. I'd like fetal monitoring. I would like fetal monitoring to be continuous. I had continuous monitoring with my son. Basically they switch you from an external monitor to an internal, so they kind of stick like a wire in your uterus, and it just measures your contractions and the baby and all of that. So that is, I want that again, which I'm sure they will do without me asking. For pain relief, I would like to use an epidural, breathing techniques, and focus. So, you know, I already cleared up that I want an epidural, but I do also want to use my own breathing techniques and focusing, because whenever I focus, I breathe and I tend to get through the pain easier. So that's just my way of coping with it. During labor, I would like to lay down and try to find a comfortable position. So instead of like standing up or walking around or sitting, I found that I do best when laying down. During delivery, I would like to avoid forceps, vacuum extraction, and an episiotomy. If any of those have to happen, I would like it to be the absolute last resort, especially an episiotomy. I did not tear that way with my son. I tore internally with my son, so I'm kind of just hoping that the same thing happens again with my daughter. But if the doctor thinks I'm obviously going to tear, then I would just like him to give me an episiotomy, but that's like my absolute last resort. Immediately after delivery, I would like Caelan to cut the umbilical cord, and I would not like to be giving pain medicine. I want Caelan to cut the cord just because he's the father. I think he cut it with Timothy. I was so out of it, I don't know. And I don't want to be given pain medicine because I took it last time with my son at nighttime that day. The epidural kind of like, my pain from the epidural kicked in and my back was absolutely killing me and I couldn't stand it, so I did take one pain pill while I was in the hospital, but I do not want to do that this time because it made me extremely tired and I don't like medicines that make me sleepy, so I'm going to try and avoid that if I can. If a C-section is necessary, I'd like to make sure that it is the last option, and I would like Caelan to stay with me for the whole time, and I would also like an epidural for anesthesia and to breastfeed as soon as possible after the C-section. I personally don't think I'm going to have a C-section unless she is, you know, obviously not head down. I forget what it's called, pregnancy brain, but yeah, so C-section is my absolute last resort. I don't want one at all, but if it is necessary for the baby, of course I'm going to do it. But yeah, I think they have to give you an epidural anyways. I haven't had a C-section, like I cleared up, so I don't know. And then whenever I'm in the recovery room, if I do get a C-section, I would like to breastfeed. And after delivery, I would like to hold my baby right after she is delivered. And then again, after she's checked. With my son, they let him lay on me for like a minute or two and then took him off of me and weighed him, made sure he was warm, measured him, you know, did everything they were supposed to do to make sure that he's healthy, and then gave him back to me. So that's what I want to happen again, because I obviously want to make sure that he's healthy. I would like to breastfeed as soon as possible. Like I said, I'd like family to have unlimited visiting after birth. I will kick them out once I get tired. I don't want them to be kicked out by you know, staff or anybody from the hospital, because, you know, I have a pretty large family with me and Caelan's combined. And then I do not want my baby to have formula unless 100% necessary. So unless, you know, she's not getting enough from my breast milk, of course I'm going to tell them to give her formula. It's not that big of a deal to me, but I would rather her stay away from formula if she can. And the last thing is I would like Caelan to stay and sleep in my room, so I'd like him to stay with me overnight, and just him, because I have no need for other family to stay. But yeah, so that is my birth plan. What is going to be happening with Timothy, my son, is he is going to be staying with my grandparents or Caelan's family, just whoever volunteers. I don't really mind. Right now it's my grandparents, but if they're really tired, then obviously he can go stay with Caelan's family. But yeah, so they're going to be bringing him to the hospital. They are going to be taking care of him through the night while I'm in the hospital and everything like that. So yeah, that is all for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope that if you didn't know what a birth plan was, you know now, and maybe I helped you make some decisions. Maybe I cleared some things up for you guys about what's going to be happening while I'm in the hospital and stuff like that. If I do have a vaginal birth, I should only be in there for 2 to 3 days. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope to see you all in my next video.